Hello.
Hello,
Good morning, sir.
sir. Good morning. Myself, Dr. H. Chandra.
Sir, good morning. Sir, there would be some option to share my screen, right? This in this Zoom app. Hello. Sir, am I audible?
Yes, sir, you
Yeah,
are.
Sir, this sharing option where it will be
Dr. H. Chandra.
screen sharing of option. Can you please tell me where is it in this Zoom app? Okay, I have found it. Okay, ठीक है. Sir, is my screen visible to you?
Yes, sir, yes. The screen.
Okay. So you can please inform me when I need to start.
Yes, sir. So shall I start this webinar? Somebody, sir.
Ma'am, I am ready. You can inform me when I need to start.
Wait. A very good afternoon to all the dignitaries, eminent guests, and all the participants. With great joy and immense exultation, I feel privileged to extend my warm welcome to everyone present for the webinar on cybersecurity. As we know, cybersecurity is vulnerable to wide variety of incidents, whether intentional or accidental, man-made or natural. This cybersecurity awareness has become a prime concern in today's network world. This webinar focuses on the ways to prevent or mitigate the harm or destruction of computer network, application, devices, and data. Respected dignitaries and most valued participants, it's my tremendous honor to introduce and welcome our resource person for the today's webinar. We indeed privileged to have Dr. Soumyadev Mehti, sir, Assistant Professor, IIIT Allahabad, and Dr. Lokesh Chauhan, sir, Assistant Professor, NIT Hamirpur. First and foremost, I would like to introduce our first resource person of today's webinar, Dr. Soumyadev Mehti, sir, Assistant Professor, IIIT Allahabad. Sir, your research area is basically information and communication security. You have designed key management and authentication protocols for the both self-organized and authority-based mobile ad hoc networks. Also, you have designed secure routing protocol for MNNs. You have proposed a lightweight version of the pseudo random number generation algorithm of RC4 stream cipher, which has a negligible hardware implementation cost yet secure enough for the short-term wireless communication. May I request Dr. Soumyadev Mehti, sir, Assistant Professor, IIIT Allahabad, to kindly address the webinar. Please, sir.
Thank you, ma'am. So, very good afternoon to everybody. First of all, I would like to thank the organizers of this event, this one-day webinar on cybersecurity, for inviting me, for sharing my research experience in this field. So today, in this talk, we would discuss a very interesting research issue, which is known as data auditing with some special properties like verifiability in a special type of cyber physical system known as fog CPS or fog assisted CPS. So the topic is verifiable data auditing for fog assisted cyber physical systems. This is the outline of this talk. So at first, I would like to give you a very brief introduction about CPS and fog computing and the integration between the two. After that, we would find the purpose of data auditing in such type of system. And then we'll try to identify the specific objectives of research for data auditing in fog CPS. A very brief review of the existing literature on this topic with a view to classify the protocols in different categories with some example schemes would be discussed then. And before concluding the talk, I'll try to find some of the research gaps in this field which may motivate the students or the researchers to find their possible future research directions. So at first, what is fog CPS? So as its name suggests that it is the integration between fog computing and cyber physical system. So I think all of us we are aware about cyber physical system. So cyber physical system is a mechanism where a physical environment or the physical world is controlled by a set of computer algorithms. So it consists of three types of components. One is the set of sensor nodes, which senses different types of data from the surrounding environment, different parameters of the surrounding environment. Second is the set of actuators, which could be thought of as mechanical hands, which can have an impact on the environment, which can take some specific actions, and a set of computing devices which execute those computational algorithms to extract some information from the data. And of course, there must be some communication network which interconnected all these components. So the mechanism is that basically that data are collected, different parameters regarding the environment are collected by the sensor nodes, and those are sent to the computing units through the communication network. The computing units processes the data and extracts some information. Depending on that information, it takes some decision. The decisions are executed by the actuators. Then when the actions are taken, then again it changes the environment, that is again measured by the sensor node, and that goes on in a loop. So there is a feedback loop. The physical process affects the computation and the vice versa. There are several application areas of CPS ranging from, as we know, e-healthcare to smart transportation, critical infrastructure control, environment monitoring, energy conservation, etc. There are some typical characteristics of a cyber physical system which make it distinguishable from other type of computing systems. For example, the demand of real-time performance. So almost most of the jobs in a CPS are real-time jobs, meaning they have some deadline, whether it could be hard deadline or soft deadline, but the value of the computation depends not only on the correctness of the computation, as we know, the definition of real-time system, but also depends on the timeliness of the computation. Reliability and predictability of the services provided by a CPS is also a requirement. Reliability meaning some of the components of the CPS system, for example, some of the computing devices, some of the actuators, some of the sensors, or some part of the communication network may not work for some duration of time. Temporarily, it could be out of order, but that should not paralyze the entire system. That means the system should continue to perform, maybe with a degraded performance. Predictability of the service. So certain performance metrics such as throughput, such as the probability of success and other things, accuracy, etc., must be predictable. So any performance enhancing feature, any dynamic component like virtual memory usually are not used in such type of systems. So which can make it unpredictable. Large volume of data, definitely is in a CPS, there could be millions of sensor nodes spread over a wide geographical coverage area, and each one collecting data, different types of data. over a long period of time. So even a very small CPS can generate data in the order of terabytes. So all the algorithms or the protocols designed for a CPS system must be scalable to the size of the data and safety critical nature, as you have already discussed that it has an impact on the environment. So any malfunctioning of the system or any incorrect execution of the algorithm or collection of incorrect data may result in incorrect actions, and that may result in a disaster consequence resulting in loss of property or even human life. So these are the features of typical CPS system, which has been shown in this figure. This is a typical CPS system. Now, what is fog computing? That I think also we know. It has been introduced by Cisco as an extension to cloud computing. So cloud computing, we are already familiar that in cloud computing we can get different services on demand in an ad hoc manner. There's a kind of ubiquitous computing. We can get those things, computation as services, service, storage as service, platform as service, etc. Those things we are already familiar. Now, so definitely cloud computing has brought a lot of advantages to us. But where is the problem? Where are the problems associated with cloud computing? First thing is that you need to upload. If I am a client of the cloud, I'm the user, so I need to upload all of my data to the cloud. Second thing, so that depends on internet and internet connectivity. Second thing, when I need some computation, I need to send the request to the cloud. Cloud does the computation on the data, retrieves the data from its storage, and then performs the computation and then sends me back the result. So all the communication, this request and response is through the internet. So two things are there. First thing is the delay because of the internet speed of the internet and volume of data need to be processed at the back end and other things. There would be a delay which could be in order of milliseconds even to get the result of a computation. In contrast, if we could have performed this computation in a local computer, we could have got it in microseconds, yeah, or even less than that. Second thing is the unpredictability because of the intermittent nature of the internet connection. We cannot assure that wherever we need the computation, we will get because the internet may not be available at that point in time. So these are the problems. So what this fog computing concept has introduced that some of the computations could be done at the edge of the network, whereas some other computations which are resource hungry could be done on the backend cloud. Similarly, regarding data storage also, a small amount of data which now at first I have to then introduce what is an edge device. So according to the definition given by Cisco, that any device with computing, storage, and network connectivity can be considered as a fog node. For example, the routers or the desktop PCs or laptop PCs or PDAs to which the sensors and actuators are connected could be considered as fog nodes or edge nodes. So some of the data which are generated in the surrounding of a specific edge node could be stored on that edge node only for a small period of time. Whereas the archival data, the historical data could be sent to the cloud. And small amount of computation which requires less computing power could be done on the edge devices, whereas large data analysis algorithms, meaning hungry data analysis algorithms, could be executed on the backend cloud. So it says that analyze the time sensitive data, meaning where the delay is very important. Delay of computation is very important. We can face two types of the need for two types of computations. One, where the optimality of the computation is very important and where we need to handle a large volume of data. In other type of computations, we need to handle only small amount of data and not only the optimality, more important is the timeliness of the computation. The delay is very important. Even if we do not get optimal, we could be happy with near optimal results, but we need it to be finished in time. So That is a concept that fog computing has introduced. So there are several advantages which are clearly evident. For example, minimizing the latency. The time-sensitive computations are now being done on the edge devices, so we do not need to wait for the response to come from the cloud. How the point is that these edge devices are controlled and monitored by the cloud only, backend cloud only. So all the algorithms or the softwares which need to be executed on the edge devices are updated or periodically monitored by the cloud only. So the user does not need to be worried about updating the software and other things on the edge devices. It is still a client of the cloud service provider. Conserve bandwidth, definitely, because now all the network, it is reducing the network overhead, because we are not sending all the requests to the backend cloud, addresses the security concerns, because or sometimes suppose in e-healthcare system the data has privacy concerns, so there we do not need to send all the data to the backend cloud, and we can operate reliably. So this way, and you can observe that the problems of cloud computing is not a serious problem when the user, the client is a single user, like a person, like a human being, because it can tolerate little bit delay. However, when we want to integrate cloud computing with cyber physical system, first of all, why should we try to integrate the cyber physical system with cloud computing? The reasons are the same as why you would like to take the services from cloud computing, because the same things it can provide a lot of storage, a lot of computers and everything on demand on ad hoc basis. So we can just outsource those jobs to the cloud. But then the problem is that now, as we have learned that the jobs in a cyber physical system are times and time delay sensitive, and resource consumption, resource constraints are there, bandwidth is scarce resource. So those will create problem if we use simple cloud computing with CPS. So we can integrate fog with CPS. So this is a simplified architecture of fog CPS. So we can see there are three types of interfaces, interface between fog, different fog devices. So different, for example, different routers or different laptops in the local network, and interface between the cloud and fog, interface between the things, the sensors or actuators and the fog. So there is no direct interface between the cloud and the user. The interface is through the fog. So the fogs are controlled by the cloud. The administrator of the CPS is a client of the cloud service provider only. So this way, the fog computing solves the problem of CPS, where at the same time preserving the advantages of cloud computing, addresses the resource constraints of CPS device, addresses the bandwidth constraints of CPS, can fulfill latency requirement, ensure uninterrupted operation, no need to update software of the CPS device at its physical. So the main thing is that now the time sensitive or real time operations would be performed on the edge devices, which need to handle only small amount of data, whereas the modeling the data, or for example extracting some useful information from large amount of data, or storing the data for archival purpose, would be done at the backend cloud. So that is about fog's brief introduction about fog CPS system. Now we move on to our topic, that what is the purpose of data auditing in fogs, or what is data auditing actually in a fog CPS system. So, so what we have learned, that although most of the computations in a fog CPS system would be done on the local edge devices, still it does not eliminate the need to upload data regularly on the cloud, backend cloud, and to perform some computations on the cloud. So, for example, uh, if we give a scenario, I mean, so for example, if we give you a scenario, for example, anomaly detection. A CPS system could be used for anomaly detection to detect some anomaly in the surrounding environment. Now, as we know that any anomaly detection algorithm requires some model of the normal data and a threshold. Then what do? We measure certain parameters of the surrounding environment and then compare it with the normal data, model of the normal data. We measure the deviation between the two, and whenever this deviation crosses a threshold, we declare that this is an anomaly, and then we can take the necessary actions with the help of the actuators. Now, if we focus on this mechanism, then we see that there are two phases actually, which in machine learning algorithms are called the training phase and the detection phase. So during the training phase, we need to handle a large volume of historical data, which have been collected over a long period of time from different regions, etc. So that requires huge resource because it needs to handle large volume of data, and the extracted model or the extracted threshold values should be optimal as possible. So complex machine learning based algorithms are executed on large volume of data. Whereas during detection, only an edge device needs to handle small volume of data which is in its surrounding only and which has been collected only over a small period of time. And now the algorithm to detect the anomaly is not very much resource consuming because already the normal data has been modeled and the threshold has been measured that is available with the edge device. It just compares the distance between the two things, the normal data and the observed data. So this scenario, there could be other scenarios, but this scenario shows that why in epoxy case still we need to store data and we need the security. We need to ensure the security of the data stored on the backend cloud. For example, in this particular scenario, to consider that the threshold is calculated incorrectly. The data on the backend cloud is modified so that the threshold is computed incorrectly, then that would have an adverse effect on the anomaly detection done by the edge devices. So that means the anomalies will not be detected correctly. So that could have an adverse effect. So we need to secure the data. Now, what do we mean by securing the data? Definitely, there are three objectives: authenticity, integrity, and availability. Now, authenticity and integrity can be ensured easily by using some cryptographic mechanisms. We know digital signature or MAC or encryption could be used, but what about the availability of the data? If even a small part of the data file has been deleted or one block, as we know that usually a file is stored in a number of blocks. So if one block is deleted or one block has been replaced by another block of the same file, so in that case, a digital signature is not sufficient because if we do not have the block, then how can we verify digital signature of the block? Or if a block has been replaced by another block, then both of the blocks will contain valid signature by the same user. So that means we need actually a separate protocol to ensure these objectives. And for example, if we give these examples, that why even a small block, if a file is containing millions of blocks, then only a small, say 1% of the blocks are deleted, then why it could be detrimental. For example, the data file is containing sensitive information, accounting information, and the block containing information about some financial corruption that has been deleted. The rest of the file kept same, intact. Or suppose the file is an encrypted file or a compressed file. And as we know that in case of compression, there is a compression table which is essential for decompressing the file. Now the block containing the compression table has been deleted, so the entire file becomes unusable. Similarly, for a database file, we have index tables, and index tables are also stored as blocks. If those blocks are deleted, then that database file becomes unusable. So these examples demonstrate that even a small amount of the blocks of a data file are deleted, that could be very much harmful in different scenarios. Now, cloud authority may not report it to the user in time because of its reputation problem. Cloud authority may expect that since a small portion of the data has been lost or deleted by a hacker on the cloud, So cloud, because in order to preserve the reputation, it would expect that it will not be observed by the user, and it will not report it. So whenever it will be detected by the user, by that time maybe some loss has already occurred. So the CPS authority needs to deploy its own mechanism to detect whether data kept at the backend cloud are kept intact or not. So that means it needs to regularly, periodically audit the data. So that is called data auditing, to ensure both availability and the integrity of the data. So now that we have been convinced regarding the purpose of data auditing in a Fox CPS system, some obvious questions are coming to our mind, that several issues like who should do this auditing then? How would it be done? What should be the protocol, and what are the challenges in it? So let us try to find the answers one by one. Uh, Before that, so to summarize, what are the specific, okay. So first, what are the challenges in this process? What are the challenges in data auditing in a Fox CPS system? First point is that the data is no longer available to the CPS nodes. In this case, the edge nodes, once it uploads the data, it may delete it from its local memory, because that is the advantage of cloud computing. If we are storing it in locally, then why should we use cloud service? CPS nodes cannot download the entire data to verify it because of its resource constraints. The total data may be in order of terabytes, which cannot be downloaded by a single edge device. So that means we need to verify the integrity, or the we need to audit the data without retrieving the data from the cloud. So this is a very interesting research challenge. We need to audit some data without retrieving or without having a copy of the data. And obviously the communication overhead and computational load should be scalable. It should not grow exponentially with the size of the data. So those are the challenges. Now, in order to answer the first question, that who should do this auditing? Then definitely the simplest solution is that it would be done by the user itself. That means the owner of the data, the client of the cloud, could be the auditor itself. So depending, based on this assumption, this protocol proposed by Agnes et al. In the year 2007 have been proposed, although many other protocols have been proposed after that till date. But almost all the protocols refer to this paper as the base paper, basic idea. So let me explain this in in a brief manner. So this protocol consists of two phases. Phase one is the pre-processing phase, and phase two is the challenge response phase. In pre-processing phase, what the client is doing, meaning the data owner, it is taking the input file and generating two items. One is called the metadata M, and the modified file F dash. So as we can see visually also, meaning it is trying to indicate that thing, that the metadata is much smaller in size than the file or the modified file. For example, it could be in the order of terabytes, whereas this could be few kilobytes only. Then the client stores this metadata and sends the modified file to the server. The server will store it. This is the pre-processing phase. Now, this is the challenge response phase. What is happening here? The client is generating a random challenge. Now, the server taking this challenge and retrieving the data stored in its database generates a response P. Then the client verifies the response against the challenge with the help of the metadata. With the help of the metadata stored in its local storage. So the client will accept it. Mechanism ensures that only if the response is correct. Otherwise, the client will not accept it. So a little bit in detail, if we go, what is happening in the pre-processing phase, the data is first, the data file is divided into n number of blocks. Then client has its own public-private key pair. Client generates the metadata from the original file F with the help of the public parameters and private key. So that means with the help of the private key, it is generating the metadata from the file. So we can think as if it is generating some kind of digital signature on each block of the data file. So that is the metadata, some kind of digital signature on each data block of the file. Then client generates the modified file this way that it concatenates the metadata with the original file. So that is the modified file. Encryption is optional here because we are not concerned about the confidentiality of the file. Rather, we are concerned only about the integrity and availability of the data. If confidentiality is required, then encryption could be performed with no other extra protocol steps required. So we can clearly see that the storage overhead on the server side is in order of n because it needs to store n number of blocks and n number of those which we call the signatures of each block. And the storage overhead on the client side is constant in order of 1 because it needs to store nothing, in the sense that it needs to store only its private key, the public parameters, and the number of blocks in the data file or the name of the file. So definitely those things do not depend on the size of the file or the number of blocks in the file. So the storage requirement is in order of 1. In the challenge response phase, client generates a challenge vector. So the size of this vector would be m, which is something less than equal to n. N is the number of blocks in the data file. Then what it does, if m is selected as the size, then it selects m random blocks from the data file. I mean, better to say the m block IDs of the file, and then it generates m random numbers. So very simple, the challenge is nothing but IDs of m randomly selected blocks and m random numbers. And then this challenge is sent to the server, I mean the cloud. And the server taking this challenge vector corresponding data blocks, it retrieves from its storage, and with the help of the metadata, which is nothing but the signatures on each data block received from the user, it generates the response. And then this response will be verified by the client against the metadata, and it will match only if the server has correctly stored all the blocks. Now, this is an abstract description of the mechanism. So to understand how it will be possible, how it will be implemented, I'll just give a very brief introduction regarding the cryptographic mechanism underlying this. So in order to understand that thing, we'll have to have some basic knowledge on some of the basic mathematical concepts, but I'll not describe those things in detail because of the time limitation, but I'll give the overview from which anyone can later explore to learn the whole thing. So first thing is, these are the preliminary ideas. What is group homomorphism? So although these names are so complex, meaning in the first appearance, it may appear to you that these are very complex things, but very simple concepts. So what is group homomorphism? We know what is a group in mathematics, in abstract algebra. It is a set with a binary operator. For example, integers with plus operator, meaning addition operator, integers with a multiplication operator, etc. Now, for example, if I first give the example, then I'll just explain the definition. For example, so this is a mapping, meaning a function f. There exists a mapping f. Suppose this function f is the signature function. Then what is this set? This domain. Definitely this is the set of all messages and this is the set of all signatures. So let us say G is a message and G dash is a message. So f of G is the signature of G and f of G dash is the signature of G dash. Now, if we, what they are doing, multiplying the two messages G into G dash. Then if you take the image of this result, that means simply saying if you take the signature of this product G G dash, that will be equal to the product of the signatures FG into FG dash. In other words, G into G dash, signature of G into G dash is equal to FG into FG dash. So that has been shown here that f of g1 into g2 is equal to f of g1 into g2. And that must be true for all message pairs in this text, in this set. So for all g1 and g2 in G. So this is simply group homomorphism. So with these property, anything will be called a group homomorphism. I have just shown you one example that this f could be a signature function, but it could be any other function also with preserving the same property that f of g1 dot g2 equal to f of g1 dot f of g2. Now here I said that this dot is multiplication, but it could be any binary operator. As I said that it could be addition operator or any binary operator, any other binary operator you can define. But it should preserve this property. Then we can say that this is a group homomorphism. Now, instead of having just one operator, if we have two operators, we can define two operators on this set. For example, plus and multiplication. Usually in mathematics, it is represented as plus and multiplication. Then it is called a field, and with the same property, with these two properties, that now the mapping is indicated as phi, which was indicated as f here it is indicated as phi. So phi of a plus b. Okay, now the two operators in the left hand side set, plus and multiplication, the corresponding operator on the right hand side are indicated with these two operators, okay. So when we map this addition operation, this will be like this, and when we map this multiplication operation, this will be like this. Now this multiplication could be vector or scalar also. For example, if these elements of this left hand side set is are vectors, then we can multiply with only a scalar. That means in this case, suppose a is the scalar, then this will be like this. So there are some signatures, actually, as I have said, with this homomorphic property. Some signature mechanisms are there. So it might have appeared to you complex things, but if I give you one example, then it will be very clear, very simple things. Although it is a simplified example, so please do not think that this is the concrete example, but to give you a simple example. Suppose, as you know, if you have the basic knowledge of RSA, that how do we do signature on a message? So if D is the private key of a user, then M to the power D is the ciphertext. So how do we generate the RSS signature? We take just the hash of the message, digest of the message, hash digest of the message, and take hash of the message to the power D. That is the signature. So we make it simple. Let us make it simple. Instead of saying hash of the message to the power D, let us say message to the power D itself is the signature on M. Then if this is the signature function, let us observe signature of M1 into M2 would be what? Then it would be M1 into M2 to the power D, which is clearly equal to M1 power D into M2 power D, which is equal to signature of M1 into signature of M2 is equal to S1 into S2. S1 into S2. Similarly, signature of M to the power C, if we take, then M to the power C power D, that is equal to M to the power D power C, and that equal to signature on M to the power C, that is S to the power C. So that means if M1 and M2 are two messages and the corresponding signatures are S1 and S2, then signature on M1 into M2 is equal to S1 into S2. Similarly, if S is the signature of M, then signature of M to the power C is nothing but S to the power C. So by using these two formulas, you can have a linear combination that signature of M1 power C1 into M2 power C2 into M2 power M3 power C3 is equal to S1 power C1 into S2 power C3 to the C3. So how can we use this thing? Now suppose I have n number of data blocks in my file M1 to N, Mn. and then we generate the corresponding signatures, which we call tags. The tags are along with the message, some other information are added, like the file name and tag ID, etc., or the timestamp, other things are there. Then we generate the corresponding signatures. So this is the tag. And then what is the random challenge vector? Now suppose we want to challenge any m number of, here m in this example is equal to 3. So any 3 blocks in this file. So let us suppose we want to challenge block number 1, block number 2, and block number 5. So these are the indices 1, 2, and 5. And then we choose just 3 random numbers, C1, C2, and C5. So this as the vector we send, meaning the data owner would send. So data owner is the server is storing both of the things, the data file and the corresponding tags, which we call the modified file data blocks concatenated with the corresponding tags. Whereas after generating these things, the client deletes all the data blocks and the signatures also. It only stores its private key, nothing else, and public key. The client is generating this challenge and sending to the server. Server would do what? Server would extract the corresponding data blocks M1, M2, and M5 and apply the random number C1, C2, C5. So it will generate a product something like this with M1, M2, and M5. So that is the product of all these things for all I in the challenge vector. Similarly, it will extract the corresponding tags S1, S2, and S5 and do the same computation like this. And this we call sigma and this we call mu. So certainly, as we have seen here, that signature on mu is nothing but sigma. So signature on mu will be sigma. So the server will send this pair mu and sigma to the client. So the client will verify whether the signature is valid or not using its public key. If it is valid, then it is sure that the corresponding blocks M1, M2, and M5 are stored by the server intact. So we have learned that how without retrieving the data or without storing the data, user can simply audit the data. So this is one round of challenge response. There could be another round where it can select another random blocks with another random challenges. So these are the algorithms used in this protocol. Tag generation algorithm, as we have said, that it takes the data block, for each data block it generates a tag with the help of its private key. Then challenge generation is nothing but a random vector, which I have said. And the proof generation is nothing but it takes the metadata and takes the data file and challenge vector parameters, and then it generates the proof I have already explained, and verification. Now the question is why m is less than equal to n. M is the number of blocks that we challenge and n is the total number of blocks in the data file. So certainly if m is equal to n, that means we are challenging all the blocks of the data file. So this is a deterministic approach. That means if the verification is correct, then the client is sure that the data file is stored by the server. The entire data file is stored by the server correctly. Now, what if m is less than n? That means we are choosing only a portion of the data blocks of the file. So even in this case, if the verification is successful, then client cannot be sure that the entire file is stored correctly. It is only sure that those blocks which are challenged are stored correctly. So that means this is a probabilistic approach. With a certain probability, we can say that the entire file is stored correctly. What is that probability? Now, the interesting thing is that the mathematical analysis has shown that, for example, if n is equal to 10,000, that means if we have 10,000 blocks in the data file and 1%, very small percent, 460 blocks, that means the 1% of the blocks are deleted or modified, then the probability of detection is 99%. That the attacker will be detected. The attack will be detected. That means probability of non-detection is 0.01 only. So if we execute 2 successive iterations of this challenge response mechanism or 3 successive, then the probability of not getting the success I mean, probability of not detecting the attacker could be minimized to a negligible level. So that is about this basic protocol. Now there could be there could be several variations of this which have been proposed as different protocols later. Uh, in this case, we have seen that the client or the data owner itself is the auditor. Now we can deploy third-party auditor also, like in this case. So this is the data owner, this is the cloud service provider, and we are introducing a third party which is called the data auditor. So the data auditor will take some inputs from the data owner, and its responsibility is now to periodically audit the data using the same protocol with the cloud. Now the challenges will be sent by the data auditor and response to be sent to the data auditor by the cloud. Now, this third-party auditor can again be of two types, private auditor and public auditor. Now, what do we mean by private auditor and public auditor? Private auditor meaning the client fully trusts the auditor. It's part only. It could be considered as part of the same company. And then the private auditor can hold some secret data or personal information of the user. In other words, if the data file or any part of the data file or any secret information of the data file is leaked to the third party auditor, then that is not an issue to the user. However, in case of public auditor, we assume that the auditor is a third party which we do not fully trust. We only trust the third party for the auditing task only, but we do not want to disclose any part of the data to the third party auditor. So that if we have that objective, then we call that we need a public auditor. Now, again, public auditing could be of two types, where you want a probabilistic assurance that that what is the probability that the auditor will not be able to extract any information, or whether you need 100% assurance that even a zero amount of information will not be leaked to the auditor. So this has been motivated by the zero knowledge authentication protocols. I think some of you who are familiar with cryptography and key management protocols already know zero knowledge authentication protocols. In a normal challenge response, normal authentication protocols. What do? We apply some encryption mechanism or signature mechanism. The challenger sends some nonce value, challenge value, and the verifier, I mean, the claimant, it sends the response to that challenge by encrypting that nonce or generating some digital signatures on the nonce, etc. But in that case, if the challenger is having several rounds of execution of that protocol, then it is having a large amount of plain text and ciphertext pairs or the message and signature pairs with the same key generated by the user. So it can then apply some cryptanalysis attack to deduce the key. So to defeat that thing, zero knowledge protocols were proposed, where it has been mathematically proved that even if you execute 1 million rounds of the protocol, then also the challenger can extract zero information about the private key. So motivated by that, the zero knowledge public auditing mechanism also have been proposed, where it has been mathematically proved that if this auditor executes 1 million rounds of the this challenge response protocol in the cloud, it can extract zero information about the data file of the data owner. Based on cryptography, the protocols can be classified as public key-based protocol and symmetric key-based protocol. Now, one problem with symmetric key-based protocol is that those are not suitable for public auditing because it needs to share the secret key. As we know, that's a secret key in symmetric cryptography. The same key should be shared by both the parties. So public key-based protocols are more suitable for public auditing. Now, there are certain problems associated with traditional public key cryptography. So advanced public key cryptography based mechanisms would be used. Traditional public key cryptography, the problem is associated with the certification authority. Specifically, when we use it in fog CPS system, when we depend on a certification authority, so in order to establish a secure connection, every time we need to connect to the CA, because we do not only want to get the certificate, but also certificate revocation list, CRL is required from the CA. So CA must be online connected. So that means in order to establish a secure connection, we need to face a delay in order to connect the CA. Or if CA is not available at that instant in time, then we cannot establish a secure connection. Moreover, storing the certificates of large number of nodes in a cyber physical system, and managing those certificates, updating those certificates, etc., is a huge burden for resource constrained network like CPS. So to eliminate the requirement of certificate management, advanced public key cryptography advanced public key cryptography protocols were proposed, which can be classified into different categories: identity-based cryptography and certificate-less cryptography. In identity-based cryptography, what happens that unlike certificate-based protocols where I generate my own public-private key pairs and I just submit my public key to the certification authority to get a certificate regarding my public key. However, in identity-based cryptography, IBC, I cannot generate my own private key. I have to submit my public key to the trusted authority, which is called, in this case, the private key generator, and only the PKG can generate private key corresponding to a user. So I have to obtain my private key from the trusted authority. So, and in this case, the ID and the public key of a user are same. Or in other words, we can say that the public key can be easily derived from the ID using some known, global function like hash. So in this case, we do not need to have any certificate, because if I claim that this is my ID, then any message encrypted with my ID, which is my public key, cannot be decrypted by myself if I do not have the corresponding private key. So this eliminates the need for certificate. However, it introduces another problem, which is known as key escrow problem. What is that? Now, since in traditional public key cryptography, I generate my own private key and the trusted authority does not know that thing. But in this case, the trusted authority is knowing my private key. So if the trusted authority is compromised, then all the parties are compromised. So in order to address that thing, CLPKC, certificateless public key cryptography, have been proposed. It has been proposed to address the key escrow problem. Here, the public key or the private key of a user is divided in two parts, which we call the partial key. Half of the private key is generated by the KGC, here the trusted authority called KGC, Key Generation Center, and half of the private key is generated by the user itself. So this is ensuring two things. First thing is that I cannot generate my full private key because half of the private key must be generated by the trusted authority. However, the trusted authority, if the trusted authority is compromised, then it cannot overhear the communication of the other two parties, because it cannot know the full private key of a user, because the rest of the private key has been generated by the user itself confidentially. So it eliminates the need of certificate management, and at the same time, it is not suffering from the key escrow problem. And it has been analyzed by the researchers and been shown that the security level of CLPKC is same as that of certificate authority we use in traditional PKI. So based on IBC both and based on CLPKC, data auditing, public data auditing protocols have been proposed in the literature. So, to summarize, what are the basic objectives of fog data auditing in fog CPS? We need to take care about the computational complexity, communication cost, storage overhead on the server side, storage overhead on the client side also. Should allow unbounded use of the number of audit protocol interactions. The number of times the auditor can audit the data should not be bounded by any parameter. Verifiers should be stateless, meaning the auditor needs not to store any state information. If that is so, then it cannot have an unbounded interaction with the cloud. And definitely the security guarantee is required. That means if the server passes a verification test, then that should guarantee that the server is storing the corresponding block correctly. So these are the basic requirements. Additionally, there could be some other objectives of data auditing in Fox CPS system, uh, uh, like support for group shared data, supporting user anonymity, non-repudiability, verifiable auditing, etc. Support for group shared data, meaning in this case, there are multiple users and each user is contributing some portion of the data file, which is very obvious in a CPS type of system because here the data generators are the sensor nodes. So there will be multiple sensor nodes, each one will be generating, or different edge devices even can contribute different blocks of the data file. So on the same data file, different blocks assigned using different public private key pairs. Support for anonymity in some scenarios like vehicle ad hoc network, intelligent transportation system, anonymity, or even in e-healthcare, anonymity is a crucial requirement that we need to hide the identity of the user. So in that case, some pseudonymous identity should be used, specifically those protocols which use identity-based cryptography to generate the tags of the data blocks. So that is the additional challenge of implementing anonymity in these protocols. Non-repudiability. So far, we were considering that the client or the data user or the data owner is 100% honest, but it could be a scenario also that the data owner is dishonest and it is sending false information to the cloud to falsely claim that data loss event has occurred to. Um, so how can the cloud prevent? So there would be some agreement phase between the cloud and the data owner before the protocol can start during the initial setup phase. And then there should be some judgment step that if a client claims their data loss, then that could be judged by a neutral third-party judge. And last of all is verifiable auditing. Verifiable auditing requires that if the auditor itself is not trusted, in case of a third party auditor, if the auditor itself cannot be fully trusted, so the auditor is not doing the auditing, and then how the user can detect whether the auditor is doing its duty regularly or not. So that is the objective of verifiable auditing. So, for example, if the verifier, I mean the data auditor, it makes a collusion with the cloud, what happens when we have seen the protocols that it sends a norms, random numbers to the challenge, to the cloud. So if these random numbers are not really random, and if these random numbers are disclosed a priori to the cloud, then the cloud can compute all the mu and sigma values for all possible C values, the challenge values that the auditor can send. So after calculating all the mu and sigma pairs, it can simply delete the data file and keep only the mu and sigma pairs. So that means the security of this entire protocol depends on the fact that the random numbers are really unpredictable. Random numbers used in the challenge vector are really unpredictable, and those are not disclosed to the uh, cloud priority. So how that can be ensured? Some protocol they have proposed that a true random source of uh, randomness, for example, the Bitcoin, or it could be atmospheric noise or anything, could be used, which cannot be predicted, however, which can be verified after it has been generated. So that source is used by both the data auditor, and the data owner. To the auditor uses the bits to generate the challenge vector, and the user also verifies whether the same bits have been used by the auditor. So these are the additional objectives. So in summary, what we have discussed in this talk, that regular data auditing is crucial for correct functioning of a Fox CPS system. Private auditing is a burden for resource-constrained devices. Public auditing must ensure data privacy preservation. Certificate-less approaches are preferred for resource-constrained CPS. Verifiable auditing is an important requirement when auditor node may be compromised. All security claims must be proved. Okay. So, and these are some possible future research possibilities is if some of you are interested to do research in this field, you can consider these things, possible future research directions. Consider distributed auditing service. So far, we have discussed only one auditor. Now, specifically in Fog CPS system, if the edge devices themselves, they act as the auditor, interacting with each other, cooperating with each other, then that could be a scenario of distributed auditing. So that such type of protocol have not been proposed till date as per my knowledge. Second thing is you can consider uh, incentive based or reputation based distributed auditing. For the distributed auditing itself now, for example, in a Fox CPS system, why the edge devices would be interested to do the auditing? Definitely they would do it if they get some incentive. So that means you need some incentive management mechanism on the top of this auditing mechanism. That means now the auditor should be able to generate a proof of auditing, not only doing the auditing, but a proof of auditing. So what amount of auditing task it has executed to get the proportional amount of incentive. Or you can design protocols based on lightweight tag generation algorithm. This is from purely from cryptographic point of view. So for the tag generation mechanisms, meaning this data auditing mechanism were basically proposed the protocols that we discussed, not for POX CPS system, but for ordinary systems, meaning ordinary cloud computing systems, where the users are resource enriched desktop computers. But for Fox CPS system, the data editors could be edge devices, fog devices, which are resource constrained devices. So the same tag generation mechanisms could not be useful for such type of scenarios. So we can think of lightweight, some using some lightweight digital signature mechanism, meaning which are less resource hungry. We can design some new protocols, or considering combining different additional objectives, like the additional objectives we discussed, supporting group shared data, supporting anonymity, non-repudiability, verifiable auditing. So the protocols proposed till date consider only one or maximum two of these objectives. So we can try to combine more objectives into a single protocol. That could be another direction of research. So these are the references. Okay. Thank you. So you can ask me if you have any questions. Hello.
Yes, sir. Participants, if you have any question, you can ask. Okay. Thank you so much, sir, for such an informative session. We feel privileged and honored to have you among us. Thank you so much.
Thank you, all of you.
I feel very delighted and honored to introduce our next resource person of today's webinar, Dr. Lokesh Chauhan, sir. Sir, you have completed your BE in Computer Science from SGSITS Indore and MTech in IT from Bhopal. At present, you are working as Assistant Professor in Computer Science and Engineering Department at Maulana Azad National Institute of Technology, Hamirpur, Bhopal. You have completed your PhD in the area of cognitive radio in the Department of Information and Communication Technology and Management, Gwalior, India. Your area of interest are cognitive radio, MAC layer protocols, wireless and mobile computing, and information security. You have contributed a number of book chapters, and two patents are also published by you. You have served technical program committees of many IEEE ACM Sprinters Scoopers Conference, and also you are contributing reviewer of a number of ACM IEEE Elsewhere IET Sprinter journals. Now, may I request Dr. Lokesh Chauhan, sir, Assistant Professor in IT Hamirpur, to kindly address the webinar. Please, sir.
Thank you, madam, for briefing my profile, and I welcome all the participants, including uh, all the participant of or student of your organization. And I am really thankful to your organization, specifically the Vice Chancellor of your organization, or CSVTU, Dr. M.K. Verma, Professor M.K. Verma, and the coordinator and the organizing committee. Am I audible, ma'am?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir, you are audible.
Okay, okay, ma'am. So, 1 minute. Yes, my video is also visible, ma'am.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So here in this workshop, the second session is starting. So I am giving the brief introduction about the cybersecurity and the forensic part. And Dr. or Professor Somdev has already briefed about most of the cryptographic part to you. And my context is a little bit different because I am totally focusing on the general aspect of the cybersecurity and the forensics. Because I think most of the people are the student and they are starting their career in the information security. That's why I have decided this topic or very basic topic, starting from very basic point, we can say for you. Uh, you can find lots of interesting thing in between because I have collected this information uh, from various places. So I am sharing my screen first so that you can visualize the slides. Okay, my screen is visible, madam.
Yes, sir. It's visible.
Okay, so I am making it full screen so that everyone can see. Okay, so now my screen is visible to everyone as a full screen.
Yes, sir.
Okay, madam. So today's talk, I will talk about the cybersecurity and the forensic part. So as we already aware that why this cybersecurity is necessary in nowadays and in future world also. So because we are living in the era where the technology is developing or evolving every day. As we are growing or we are just changing or enhancing technology day by day, the as well as it will also open the door for various attackers and crackers in the other way. Okay, so not only we have to protect our data, we have to protect our identity also, because nowadays the identity theft is also one of the key attack, and it is not only for the specific person, it is also important for the state organization and even for our country, because in future we will see the next world war on the basis of only cyber security. That is the prediction, because there will be no weapon, only the cyber information or the cyber security will act as a weapon. We all familiar with the COVID-19 situation nowadays. Most of the people are also referring this is one kind of war on the financial war, which is generated by some specific country. Okay, so the aspect are really different. The mechanism and the deployment of the attacks are totally changed. It's not some kind of weapon. It's totally the information world nowadays, and we have to protect very careful, because information is also a valuable asset. And in this respect, we have to protect this information very carefully whenever we are using any kind of medium or share this information to the online world. Okay, so because I have selected your topic cybersecurity in the forensic, because I have affiliation from the uh, Center Bureau of Investigation of the CBI also, because I have already worked in this organization, and nowadays even also I have in the collaboration with the various forensic laboratories. So where we are just developing various product or various software uh, for security issue and for retrieving the information and for analyzing the information even. Yeah, so the content of this presentation will be here. You can see that the content. This content of these presentations are the introduction to the cyber crime and the forensic, where we will try to brief about what exactly the cyber security and the forensic mean, Then we will specifically move to or explore our specific branch, that is the computer forensics or the digital forensics. Now I have collected various cases. These cases are really interesting. If you will show some kind of interest, then I think you can easily see why these cases are interesting. So these cases are really interesting and important. I have collected from outside India also, and within India. Our country cases are I also collected from various forensic lab, as well as from some High Court and the Supreme Court cases. And then we will talk about the social media, what are the different social medias, and how can you protect your information, uh, why are using this information on the social media, and some kind of guideline in the end. I'm really interested to ask this question from you, because you are the audience and you are also utilizing various information and using various platforms to share to send your information to the other people. So we will follow some kind of guideline do and don't. And in the end, or in the starting, I think we can discuss about the career. How can how can you can utilize this information security or the cyber security field for making your career, because this is really important. Because most of the people are a student. As I already see the audience, and they are very new user. They are in- just likely to start their career in a specific field. Now, if you are opting this field, information security or cyber security, for making your career, then what are the career options? Because obvious thing, the interest, if this interest is providing you some kind of career growth, then definitely you can do whatever you want in your career. And in this way, the career growth will, or career may also grow progressively. Okay, so let's talk about with the career respect, because nowadays I have already specified you that most of the organization, they are just looking for various cybersecurity expert. Not only the private organization, various government organization, including public sectors, ministries, and even research center are also demanding various cybersecurity expert to save their data or to secure their data from various kind of attack, or known or unknown attack even. Most of the actually cyber security demands are coming from the banking side, because I think you are aware that the banking is also responsible for managing financial activity of the country. So this is really important to provide better level of the security, or the great level of the security, so that uh, your money or your financial transaction can be protected. uh, yes, you are getting my voice, man? Yes, madam, you are getting my voice?
Yes, sir.
You are getting, someone is asking question.
Okay.
Anyone is asking question?
No, sir, I
Okay,
think it was by mistake.
okay, okay, fine. So I'm continuing with this slide only. So most of the bonds are coming by various organizations, specifically in the banking side, we can say. Most of the banking sector, they advertise various vacancies for hiring various security expert, or cyber security expert, or information security expert, or auditor to protect their financial transactions. As well as we have also seen various job requirement from the public sector, just like specifically in the oil sector, HP, IOCL, BPCL, or MTNL, ONGC, and ministries are also looking for various cybersecurity experts. Okay, so these, because we are going to the next generation, and the next generation will, we can say that the next generation will only follow the information. In this respect, it is really necessary to protect this information. Now, in this regard, various organizations are also looking for specialized person or specialized people. If you are making your career, then definitely you can get or you can avail the opportunity from one of the public sector, because in future also we will see lots of opportunity will come. Okay, so if you are making or interested to make your career, then this is really nice actually field or specialized field where you can at least get good opportunity. Okay, now with respect to the any kind of company or a private organization, if you are looking for any job, because most of the time the the campus recruitment will be there, and you have to appear on the campus recruitment, and then only this company or the coming company will follow some kind of recruitment process, and they will hire you. Then in this process also, you can also specify your specialization as a cyber security. In the entry level, they may hire as a security programmer or security specialist or the security consultant or the forensic expert or security analyst. Okay, these are the actually entry level posts in software industry. After gaining some kind of experience of 5 or 10 years, you will be promoted or you will be promoted to the next level. Okay, so if you have some kind of experience, then you can work as a security architect or the policy positions or the security auditors. And after gaining some kind of experience at the mid level, because this is very necessary, it is totally based on the experience. Just like any kind of post, until or unless you have some kind of experience, then only you will promote yourself to the next level. Okay, so next the senior management position will be offer only when you have sufficient level of experience of the mid or the entry level. Then only you can work as a security director, security manager, or deputy CISO. Deputy CISO is the top level post, or the top level post is the chief information security officer of particular organization. So every software industry, they always follow this kind of triangular structure to actually hire the security people or information security people specifically in the organization. If you will talk about any kind of salary structure, then definitely if you are moving to the the next level will always come with great salary and great responsibility also, because you are in the position where most of the valuable assets are there. So you are the responsible person for this thing also. If any kind of mishappening is there, then definitely you have to take this responsibility also. So if responsibility is high, then only you will get high pay. Okay, so that is the structure inside the private organization. So main objective of showing these two slides is to just send or aware you about the opportunity, whatever the opportunity are coming from the public sectors or the private organizations. Okay, now let's talk about some technical manner. What exactly the information security? Why the cyber security is necessary? Okay, so okay, one more slide is also there. Here you can see that the threats or the attacks are coming, and what are the actually specific opportunities are there. Okay, so here some kind of comparison between the threats and the opportunities are there. So in this slide, we can see that lots of threats are coming, just like identity thefts are coming, or one in the four organization have experience and application kind of attack. 150 billion average cost of a data breach by 2020. Okay, that is the cost the companies are managing actually. Now, what are the different opportunities? So, with respect to the various cyber attacks and the cyber threat, we have the opportunity on the right side. So, we have very few professionals, because the opportunities are large, but they are not getting some specialized people. Just like in the slide, we can see that 2 million global shortage of the cyber security professional by 2019. Okay, almost three time rate of the cyber security job growth from 2010 to 2014. Okay, now 84% organization believe half or fewer of application for open security. So these kind of actually figure which clearly indicate you have lots of opportunity, but you have to specifically manage or build your career in this direction. This is really necessary. Okay, now let's move to the next slide. Okay, now with respect to various generation or of the cyber threat or cyber attack, we have evolution of the cyber crimes or the cyber threat. Okay, so I have compared generation by generation. Here I have started from 1990s, 2000, 2010, and nowadays situation. Okay, so we will see the actually history of the evolution of various cyber attacks. Then it started in 1979, and various attacks are actually not actually evolved at that time. So we can consider as a micro viruses, email or denial of service or limited kind of hacking in 90s. Okay, but the technology is growing, then definitely it will also open the door for various attacks. Okay, so in the second generation, we have a different kind of attack, just like network denial of service. We will talk about what exactly the denial of service attack. So denial of service attack is the attack when the attacking group or some attacker is attacking in such a manner that the legitimate or the authorized user won't able to perform his services. Just like if attacker is attacking on the Facebook server, just he is just bombarding or broadcasting lots of messages to the Facebook. What will happen? The Facebook will be down or Facebook server will be down. A authorized user who is not performing any bad activity, he will not able to utilize Facebook at that time. Okay, so this is the simplest example of the denial of service. In the similar manner, the network denial of service are also there, where attacker is forming a group or multiple script he is writing and is just attacking on a single system. Okay, so we will talk about later on also what is exactly the denial of service, Trojan horse or worm. So these are the generation actually, generation of various threats and the attack, and now we have next generation kind of attacking situation where most of the virus are very novel. Most of the attacks and threats are very novel. Now we have to protect our system or organization from adaptive or next generation algorithm or preventive systems. Okay, because if our system is actually secure enough from this kind of novel attack, then we have to target to the future generation attacks also. Because if new attacks are coming with, we don't have any kind of signature or any kind of identification code of a specific attack, then definitely this new attack will be happen. Okay. So there are lots of mechanisms also by creating this kind of adaptive algorithm or adaptive system. Uh, we can protect our information or the information system from this kind of attacks. Okay. Now, why information security is necessary for any kind of organization? Okay, this is really important. So nothing but what exactly the information security is. So information security is nothing but to protect our information from authorized use, disclosure, disruption, modification, inspection, recording, or destruction. Okay, it's all part of the information security breaches or unauthorized access. Okay, so what does it mean? It means the if you are storing information anywhere, then there are the possibility of unauthorized access. Anyone can disclose, disrupt, or change your information. Someone can only read the information, not modify the information, or destruct the information, totally destroy the information from your transmission or storage. Okay, so this is also one kind of security aspect. So these things is really necessary to protect our information from this kind of happening. So now, what exactly the information and the cyber security is? Now, whenever we are using or referring information security to the cyber security, then we always talk about the transmission. Okay, what does it mean? It means if we are storing the information inside any kind of system, then it is not cyber security exactly. But if we are sharing our information from one system to the another system, one mobile to the another mobile, one mobile to the computer, or any node to the specific server, then only the cyber security terminology will come into the picture. Okay. Just like here we have some example, social media and your data in the mobile, your biometric. Okay, the third, information security spans so many research like cryptography, mobile computing, cyber forensics, online social media, because the technology is taking new forms. Okay, these new forms are online social media nowadays, or mobile computing, or the even cloud and the IoT, because most of the people are now aware with this terminology, Internet of Things and the cloud computing, where we are storing our all the data to the cloud, and cloud on behalf of you, the cloud is performing the processing and the storage. Okay, so this new mechanism is actually creating uh, to to create low overhead at the handheld devices, just like mobile phone. Okay, so before starting anything, we can differentiate two important users. These are the bad people or good people. You have to think. Now, these two people are the hackers and the cracker. What exactly these people are? Okay, we have hacker and the cracker. So, hacker is a person who just want to know inner working computer system and helping to improve them if they detect flaw in their security. Most of the time, the hacker is also known as the uh, white hat hackers or white hat users, or crackers are also known as the black hat users. What does it mean? So we have two user, hacker and the cracker. Hacker just interested to highlight the vulnerability and the flaw in the system. That's why he is just accessing the inner information or internal structure of particular organization information system, because hacker intention is totally different. Hacker intention is to highlight the flaw or vulnerability in the system. These are the weakness inside the system. But on the other hand, the cracker is actually performing this activity for his professional benefit or some specific professional or the economical benefit. Okay, so these are the actually basically difference between the hacker and cracker. One thing is very common between hacker and the cracker, they are performing illegal activity first of all. The second thing which is common between the hacker and the cracker, they are very highly intelligible or highly skilled people who is performing this kind of act. So hacker, if you are talking about the hacker or the cracker, first of all, one thing is very clear, they are very intelligent people. Okay, they are not very simple people who have not knowledge about the system, because until and unless you have very strong knowledge about the system, then only you can act as a hacker or the cracker or even as a security provider. It is necessary to understand the system first, then only we can exploit any kind of attack. Okay, so let's move to the forensic part now. So before starting the forensic part, we have to understand what exactly the situation in our country at present. Okay, if any kind of happening or any kind of act is happening with you, then in this situation you will definitely approach to nearby police station by filing any kind of complaint or the FIR. Okay, now some investigating officer will assign to your complaint, and on the basis of your complaint, he will or the investigating officer will try to file or try to find out the evidences. Okay, just like a police officer or the sub inspector will actually try to investigate the thing, and if he will find uh, some kind of evidences or some kind of suspect people, then he will prepare a report and he will produce this report inside the prosecution or in the front of court. Okay, so this is the actually process. We have to file any kind of FIR, then police officer will assign, and then the report will be produced inside any kind of court. So this is the actually three-stage process overall, and generally it follows everywhere, not only in our country, everywhere actually we follow this kind of mechanism. So why this is necessary? Because if any kind of even cyber crime is happening with you, then you have also approach to the legal agency or some kind of investigation agency to file any kind of complaint. Okay, so this is the legal channel where you can report. Okay, so in India also we have to follow this channel. Okay, so let's talk about the forensic science now. What exactly the forensic science or where it comes? So in the three-stage process, in the second step it will come. So in the investigation portion, it will come. What exactly is the investigation portion? So in the investigation portion, the investigator is try to highlight some kind of evidence, and later on he will try to create the chain of evidence so that he can prepare any kind of report in the favor of some kind of suspect people or some kind of victim people. Okay, so this is actually kind of forensic process. So forensic science, what exactly it is? Forensic science, as the name suggests, it is a branch of science, first of all. Okay, so first of all, it is a branch of science to criminal and the civil law. Okay, now what exactly the forensic science is? So forensic scientist, what exactly he is performing? So he is performing, he is collecting, preserving, and analyzing various scientific evidence. Okay, during the course of investigation. So during the investigation process, we have to collect, preserve. It means the safeguard of specific evidences. uh, we are aware with the situation that whenever we are reaching to the scene of crime, then we should not touch to any evidences. We have to take very lots of precaution to touch any kind of evidence. Okay, even in case of the this evidence handling is also necessary. So in this situation, this evidence handling and evidence careful monitoring or the processing is known as the preservation. Okay, so evidence preservation and the analysis. Okay, these are the part of the forensic science. Now, sometimes we have to approach to the scene of crime to collect the evidence. Okay, one thing is there. Sometimes in the office or in the forensic lab itself, they have to analyze the evidence. Okay, so we have two different forensic approaches. Now we have variety of forensic branches also. Okay, most of the branches are totally focusing on the medical science field. Okay, now we can classify this forensic branch into four fields: physiological sciences, social sciences, forensic criminalistics, and the four digital forensics. We have four branches. Out of these four branches, these four branches also include sub branches. Just like physiological sciences is divided into forensic anthropology, basically where we can judge any kind of human behavior or human generation. Okay, this is also one of the medical branch. Now forensic dentistry, it's the study of the dent. Now the forensic entomology, uh, it is a study of various insects. Now the forensic pathology, I think you are aware with it. Forensic botany, forensic biology, forensic profiling, forensic phenotyping. It is the genetic behavior from the DNA we can analyze. Now blood stain pattern, the forensic chemistry. Okay, so these are the branch mainly focusing on the medical sciences. Now, on the other side, we have second branch, that is the social science branch, that is the forensic psychology and the psychiatry. I think you can understand the psychology and the psychiatry part. Now, we have forensic criminalistics. Now, this branch generally, we relate this branch to some kind of weapon or some kind of evidence. Okay, just like we can understand or we can explore this branch from the forensic ballistics. It means we are talking about the exact weapon, whatever it is used during particular crime. Now, ballistic fingerprint. Okay, fingerprint or the weapon fingerprint we are talking about now. Body identification, fingerprint analysis, forensic footwear analysis. Footwear evidence is also one of the biggest actually uh, one kind of biggest branch inside the forensics. So glove print analysis, palm print analysis, van matching. Okay, this is most of the time it is related with the weapon or the we can say ballistic kind of thing. Now we have our area where we are totally focusing because we are from I think computer science and information technology field. We are from the engineering science field. In this situation, mainly we always focus on the last branch, that is the digital forensic branch. Now, here the forensic expert or the digital forensic expert try to find out the evidence inside the computer, inside the any kind of internet application, just like in the browser, during the transmission, database, or mobile devices. Okay, if he is able to find out some kind of image, data, or video, then we have other branches also. So it is there. So not limited to these branches. We have computer forensics, forensic data analysis, database forensics, mobile data for device forensics, electroforensic and the forensic video and the forensic audio. So these are the branches basically inside the digital forensic. Now I just want to ask one question from the audience. Out of this four branch, can you answer me which branch is actually mainly responsible to solve the many cases? Which branch has actually better rate to solve many criminal cases? Anyone can give the answer? Anyone from the audience? Anyone from the audience can give this answer? Which branch of this forensic science is responsible to solve many cases? Okay, any faculty member can give this answer? Okay, so I am giving you this answer because out of this four branch, the social science branch actually is responsible to solve many cases. Forensic psychology and the forensic psychiatry. Because most of the time, generally the criminal intention is very clear. Is very clear because the criminal most of the time is related to particular victim. Okay, there is not a situation when the criminal is totally annoyed or totally different. Okay, criminal always has some kind of social chain or some kind of relationship chain from particular victim, and he has intention to commit a specific crime. That's why the social science branch is responsible for solving many cases, not actually physiological, forensic, linguistic, or the digital forensics. Okay. So this is actually intention is necessary to commit any kind of crime. That is actually main focus of the forensics. Okay, so because our area of interest is the digital forensics, so we totally focus on the digital forensic branch. So what exactly it is? Now, if digital forensic expert is investigating the thing and recovery or investigating and finding material inside any kind of digital devices, okay, just like image, data, or any kind of video, which we can relate to the crime or scene of crime, then only it is known as the digital forensic. It means here the forensic expert or digital forensic expert is investigating in such a way to try to find out the evidences inside the digital devices, okay, which may be a computer or mobile phone or any kind of email account or the uh, social media account. Okay. Now, if we are specifically talk about this computer forensic, because computer forensic is a branch of the digital forensic. Okay. Now, here the investigator or digital forensic expert or the computer forensic expert is try to find out the evidence inside the computer system. Okay. That is the actually difference between the digital forensic and the computer forensic. So, whenever we are talking about the computer, it means the computer forensic expert is interested to find out evidence inside the computer. Okay, so though the goal of the computer forensic is to examine digital media in the forensic sound manner with the aim of identifying, preserving, recovering, and analyzing this document. Okay, so that is actually intention of the computer for forensic expert. Okay, now uh, we are moving to the next part, and that is the interesting cases. But before starting the interesting cases, here we have follow one study. What is actually structure of the cybercrime worldwide? So I have collected this slide from one of the source. So here we can see the evolution of the cyber crimes because in 1997 some malicious code, Trojan horse kind of virus are generated. Now if we are talking about the present scenario or the present situation, in this situation we have banking malware, keylogger, Bitcoin wallet, stealer, identity theft nowadays it is very popular, phone hijacking, ransomware, okay, point of sale attack, cyber warfare, and right hack. Because even if you will see the situation of India also, so India is also surrounded by many countries which is not they are not actually our friend. So they are also trying to steal this information. Okay, not only this country, because some kind of terrorism is also actually evolving with respect to this cyber crime, because these terrorists are also taking this information, distributing this information to spoil the environment. Just like you can consider the example of the Kashmir region, where the terrorist intention is different. They are just spreading the wrong news to the citizen of this Kashmir, that um, the government is not actually working for their benefit and for their betterment, for their welfare. Okay, so in this situation, this information may spoil or mm, may spoil the environment of a specific city or a specific region. So this is also really necessary to control or to stop this kind of information for broadcasting. Okay, so nowadays the intention of the terrorism is also different. Okay, so that's why the cyber terrorism terminology nowadays we are referring. Okay, so what are the actually present situation worldwide? So we have variety of viruses, just like malware, phishing, ransomware, denial of service, SSL kind of attack, okay, API attack. So here, leading organization, if you are talking about the Microsoft, Google, Facebook, or Apple, and even people, they are also suffering from variety of attacks. Just like if we are considering only the impersonation phishing attack, the phishing attack is very common. Whenever you, I think you are also aware with the phishing attack, the mail or SMS or any kind of WhatsApp messages are also coming nowadays that you have won some specific amount from the Facebook or the Apple. Now to claim this amount, you have to provide some specific information, or you have to give some money transaction or transfer kind of thing to specific attacker, because money conversion charges they are demanding. Okay, so in this way, the phishing attack is very common. Just like you are getting one message, you won $1 million from the Apple. Now to claim this amount, you have to actually process by depositing 10,000 rupees to their account. Basically, it's a money conversion charge. Okay, so most of the people they are also trapped. Okay, they are, because they don't have information about this phishing attack. They are thinking that this is the actually actual message. They are also clicking on the annoying links, which is really actually
देखो
necessary
कोई चींटियों का घर
to
बन रहा है
protect
क्या
our
वो वाला
information.
क्या
Yes. Any question?
वो सर
Okay. So most of the organizations, just like Google, Microsoft, they are also suffering from this phishing attack. So this 13%, 11%, 10%, or 10%, or 6% by PayPal. Okay, this is actually situation in last year itself. Okay, so we can imagine out of all the attacks, these large organization or renowned organization are also suffering from various cyber crimes. Okay, now what is the actually basically basic motivation for the cyber security expert or the forensic expert? So what exactly the thing is? So because any kind of an investigating officer, any police officer, any law prosecution, they always believe on one principle. One principle which always motivate to any kind of investigating officer or any lawyer or any even judge, okay, or even cyber security expert or the forensic expert. What exactly the principle is? So principle is it is impossible for the criminal to act, especially considering the intensity of the crime, without leaving trace of his present, his presence. What does it mean? I think the famous dialogue in the Bollywood movies are also popular. कि, गुनाहगार के लिए इट इज इम्पॉसिबल कि वो कोई क्राइम करे और कोई सबूत नहीं छोड़े. आई थिंक आपने ये सुना होगा कहीं ना कहीं बॉलीवुड मूवीज में भी. So this dialogue is also actually motivation for various security experts, because if the criminal is actually committing the crime, it is almost impossible without leaving any kind of trace or the presence. Okay, so this is actually motivation for the investigator to investigate further. Okay, to analyze further, because If we are analyzing more and more, then definitely we will able to find out some kind of evidence at least. Okay, so that is the motivation which always motivate various security professionals, starting from the forensic expert or the cyber security expert or the investigating officer, police officer, lawyer, or judges even. Okay, now move to the next part, that is the interesting cases. This is really important thing which I really want to highlight to you because I have collected this information from worldwide even. So in this interesting cases, I will try to highlight some of the cyber crime cases which is really important. Okay, so one thing is very clear: the cyber crimes are actually enhancing every year. Okay, so but what is the base route or where it is starts from? So I have collected these cases from very basic situation or very basic point. So one cases I have collected in year 2000, okay, near about 20 year before. Okay, so here we have actually three people. Uh, we have three people: Marty Thier, okay, and the Mitchell Catherine Thier and the John Diamond. Okay, so we have three people, and what was the situation at that time? So nothing but this Marty Thier, this this person or this actually Captain Marty Thier was killed by these two people, Mitchell Catherine Thier and John Diamond. But at the scene of crime, there is no evidence. There was no evidence at the scene of crime. Then what was how they approach on investigating after and the intention to perform this murder. Okay, so this was the actually first case of am I audible, madam? Because my session was actually off.
Yes, sir, you are audible.
Okay, I'm again sharing my screen because I think due to some communication it
Yes, sir.
was failed. Okay, okay, my slide is visible.
Yes, sir, it's visible.
Okay, so let's continue with the same point. So it was very interesting case of 2000. So this Marty Thier was killed by these two people, Mitchell Catherine Thier, the wife of this people, Marty Thier, and John Diamond. He was the friend of this Marty Thier. Now at the scene of crime, there was no evidence, so the intention was not clear. But after investigating the computer system of the Mitchell Catherine, they got the lots of evidences because they have transferred almost 88,000 email which is transferred between the Catherine and the John Diamond, which clearly indicates the indication and the relationship between the Catherine and the John Diamond. And later on, it was proved in 2000, year 2004, and they found guilty of murder this Marty Thiel. Okay, so that is the situation in year 2000. This is the first case which is actually solved with the help of the cybercrime. That's why I have enlisted here Okay. Now the second case, which actually show the preservation of evidences, because this is really necessary. If we are getting some kind of evidence at the scene of crime, then the preservation or the safekeeping of these evidences is really necessary. Just like the case of the Brad Cooper. Okay, Brad Cooper case, because Brad Cooper was arrested in the murder of his wife Nancy Cooper. Okay, now the investigating officer Jim Young, okay, they got actually he got one cell phone or one mobile phone, BlackBerry phone, at the scene of crime. This phone has lots of evidences, but it was locked. Okay, I think you are aware with the lock pattern. And what will happen? The Jim Young has attempted lots of wrong password, and I think you are aware with the policy of the BlackBerry phone or the iPhone. If you are attempting wrong password multiple times, then the whole data inside the mobile phone will be erased out automatically. So there is no mechanism to retrieve the data from this mobile phone in this situation. And after attempting the wrong password again and again, what they found that the data inside the BlackBerry phone was totally erased due to multiple wrong attempt password of by the genius. Okay, so this is also necessary. If you are getting some kind of evidence, then the safekeeping is also very necessary. That's why you have to follow the standard operating procedure or the SOP by handling some specific evidence. Okay, whenever they are visiting to the specific scene of crime, then they have to wear just like gloves, or they should not touch any evidence directly. These are the guidelines for the physical evidences, but what about the logical, or what about the software evidences, or what about the evidences which reside inside the computer system or the mobile phone? So proper handling mechanism is also necessary to take care these evidences. Okay. Now, I have also collected cases, interesting cases from India. Now, in India also, the cases are also enhancing, because India is also actually digitally sound. They are also adopting, or that our country is also adopting new technology for various financial and economical purposes. It will also actually open the door for the attackers and the cracker to perform the attacks. Just like in this situation, we have variety of crime in the specific state also. We can consider the example of the Maharashtra state, which has highest cyber crime actually on particular 2013 year. Nowadays, the situation is also different. It is also enhancing. Okay, so one thing is very clear: if we are moving to the next year, if you compare the 2020 data, okay, to 2020 data, then the tower will be very high. It means the number of crimes are also very large with respect to the time, because the pattern is also changed by the attacker. They are also using the same technology for exploiting or for attacking on various information systems. Okay, so nowadays, if just compare variety of the cyber attacks, and it also including the IPCs, just like sexual harassment, fraud, cause disrupt, extortion, greed, revenge. Okay, these are the crimes which are also enhancing. Okay, so now compare the data for actually this organization, Bangalore. Okay, now the cybercrime in the country, almost 8,000 cases in year 2016. Okay, now if you compare the data of 2017, that almost 22,000 cases are registered under the cybercrime. Now 2018 and 19 is still analyzing the data, how much actually it is. Now definitely it will be larger than this 22,000. On an average, 50 FIR are registered every day in Bangalore. Now just consider the example of the Bangalore city. You will get 50 FIR actually registered every day. Almost 3 hours are required to process a single FIR. So now you can assume how much time is actually required to process any kind of FIR. Now, 3% of the cybercrime cases reach the stage of being charge sheet. Now, 56% of cases damage can control if public are actually aware, or at least aware before specific crime. So it can be protected, but due to the unawareness of specific cyber crime, it is not actually visible to specific victims. If the information is available to them, then only they can actually do some kind of protective measure. That is the actually intention. Okay. Now, with respect to India, I have selected two cases: the blackmailing cases, and one cases from the terrorism. So this is nothing but a very similar or very similar to our, we can say, very similar to any Bollywood movie. So this case was registered in Thane police or Maharashtra under the IPC. Various IPCs are also being given: 292, 389, 420. Okay, so mainly 420 actually work, and also under the IT Act 2000. Now, what was the case of this blackmailing? So there are few role players. The boy, actually the NRI boy, we can say, the NRI boy who was living at Dubai. Okay, so he was living at Dubai. He is basically from the Calcutta or Kolkata. Okay, now one girl are also there. Okay, who is living in Mumbai. Now, what exactly the situation at that time? There were no actually WhatsApp kind of thing or any kind of chatting platform. They generally communicate with via actually Yahoo Messenger or email. So at that time they contact with each other in year 2000. Okay, nearby 2000 actually. So whatever the situation, they were chatting continuously. This NRI boy is continuously talking with this girl, and later on they found that they can make the relationship. Okay, so nothing but afterward, this girl actually, this Mumbai girl was forcing this NRI boy to come to Mumbai uh, to talk with their parent to proceed further. Okay, but at that time, this NRI boy was busy in Dubai, and he told to the girl that I won't come. Now, after some time, the girl also told to the and this NRI boy, if you are not coming on tomorrow, then my family will actually is likely to make any kind of marriage relationship with any other 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 person. Now this NRI boy was totally busy with some kind of activity, or because he was also working in Dubai, so he was totally involved. And it is not very easy for anyone to directly come from outside in India to our country. Okay, so in this situation, he didn't come at that time. So क्या हुआ उसके बाद में this girl already told to this NRI boy, if you are not coming at that time, then I will perform suicide, or I will commit suicide. And the next day itself, this girl has done already suicide at that time. This information this NRI boy got from the girlfriend. Okay, उसकी एक और friend थी. Okay, so one friend is also there who is also girl. She intimate this into the NRI boy that she has already committed suicide, and one complaint is already lodged inside the police station that because of you only she has committed the suicide. Now this NRI boy was very scared because one girl has already committed suicide on his name, and one complaint is all or FIR is also actually on inside the Mumbai police station. So he was very scared. Then he contacted to this girl that please do something. I have not done anything wrong. Then this friend has suggested one lawyer. Okay, one a lawyer to this NRI boy. He just contact to this lawyer. Definitely he will help you. Now this NRI boy contacted to the lawyer, and the lawyer has given some kind of assurance. Yes, I am doing something. Please do not come to India because one complaint is already against you. If you will come to India, then definitely the arrest warrant will be there and you will be arrested soon. So do not come to India, because in Dubai it is not very easy to actually arrest any kind of people or any kind of foreign people or foreign nation in other country. So he was convinced, the NRI boy was convinced, he didn't approach to the Mumbai. But with this NRI boy basically from the Kolkata, then later on, his mother health was not actually right in 2001 and 2002. So he has to come to India only because if we are the Indian, if we are living at other country, then remember my word, other than India, there is no safe country for you. Okay, whenever you are visiting any of the country, almost US or any European country or UK or any specific Gulf country, even, the safest country for you as an Indian is India only. Okay, it is only the safe place if you are Indian. Then he can also realize the same thing because his mother was also suffering from bad health condition. So he has to approach or he has to move to the Kolkata. Now, what will happen at that time? He approached to the Kolkata and he already met with his mother. After actually take care of his mother health, he surrendered himself to the nearby police station. That one case already registered against me at Mumbai, and I am totally puzzled from this case, and I am surrendering myself, and I am ready for the legal proceeding. Now, the Kolkata police has actually seen this case. Yes, someone has already giving surrender at our hill station. So they contacted to the Mumbai police station. Now the Kolkata police, they contacted to the Mumbai police or the Thane police, Mumbai Oshiwara police station. They contacted. We have your suspect people, or we have already arrested your suspect person. Now send a Mumbai police team to the Kolkata so that they can actually collect this specific this NRI boy. Okay, so they have Kolkata police forwarded this information to police, Oshiwara police station. And what exactly they found Mumbai police? Mumbai police found that there is no complaint has been registered or any complaint is registered against to this NRI boy. There is no complaint at any of the police station in the Mumbai. Okay, so it is totally a false actually kind of situation, false intimation to the NRI boy that the one complaint has been already raised against to this NRI boy. Now, this boy was very shocked after getting this information from the Kolkata police. Kolkata police informed to this NRI boy, there is no complaint raised or registered inside any of the Mumbai police station. Now this NRI boy approached to Mumbai police station, Oshiwara police station. He has written one complaint at that time. I want to submit one crime because some people has already collected my lots of money to save me. It means this lawyer has collected lots of money that yes, you have to deposit 2 lakh or 3 lakh or 5 lakh rupees. Otherwise, I can stop your actually arrest warrant from this police station. So he is just taking or he was just doing this kind of act to making fool this kind of NRI boy. So this NRI boy has registered one complaint inside the Oshiwara police station. Now Oshiwara police station has assigned one investigating officer, Inspector Dhole, to the this case. Yes, anyone is asking something? Okay. Uh, Actually, I am not getting your voice clearly.
कैसे बता सकता हूँ ये कैंसिल हो
Okay. Can you repeat the question?
जाएगा 500 रुपये ऐसे निकाल दो जाते मजा छोड़ के आ जाएगा
Actually, I'm getting some bike wise. Madam, can you mute the other mic
Yes, sir,
for
I have
some?
muted.
Okay, okay, madam. Okay, so later on, this boy has written one complaint against this kind of fact, and the lawyer Uh, the investigating officer, Inspector Dhole, was assigned to the complaint, and this what exactly they found. They found they have given this complaint to the cyber team or cyber forensic team. The cyber forensic team, they got the information that the girl, here we can see that the girl's friend and the lawyer, they are using the same IP address while talking to the NRI boy. What does it mean? It means it is totally the case of the fraud or the impersonation. The girl who is also reacting as a girlfriend and who is also reacting the lawyer. These three people are same because they are also using the same IP address, because the IP address is the identity in the internet world. How can they use the same IP address while they are they are having some different identity? Okay, so the cyber team raid on the specific location after getting the IP address. What they found that the two people has actually created this kind of all the drama. Who is just the one person is just reacting like a girl's friend, and the lawyer to take lots of money from this NRI boy. So this was the first case which is actually successfully resolved by the cyber team or cyber crime team, and this case was also rewarded by the ministry or by the government even. So the investigating officer, Mr. Deepak Dhole, inspector of the Mumbai police, he was also rewarded to solve this case. And this case won the first runner-up prize position for India Cyber Cop Award. Okay, if you will see, then you can get this information now also. So this case is very similar as nothing like just a Bollywood story, but this is really interesting. Although this is very long story, but I think you can understand from one of the Bollywood story that this case, this kind of it is also happening. Okay, now come to the second case. I think you aware with the Hyderabad bomb blast into the year 2003 or 7. I think it was happened, and the two or three serial bomb blast actually occurred in Hyderabad at that time. Two places. The one is Mirchi Center, and another place is also there. Two serial bomb blast was also there, and at the scene of crime, there was no evidence. The investigating of the forensic team approached to the specific place, and I think you are aware whenever this bomb explode, then 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 if we can find any kind of evidence, the evidence will also be totally damaged. So they got only very blur image of various CCTV because it happened in year I think 2013. Okay, so two bomb blasts occurred. Okay, first explored in the Mirchi Center on A1 Mirchi Center and the Anand Tiffin Center. So these are the two places. These two places we suffered from the bomb blast. And at the scene of crime, these two places won't actually give you specific information if you will approach, because this is very crowded. So at that time also, there is no evidence actually. There was no evidence at a particular scene of crime. And now what they got a actually CD drive and blur images from various CCTV cameras, which is actually mounted on the various shops and various street. And it is really impossible to actually relate all the information. So the cyber team ATS was actually working at that time. So anti-terrorist squad, they actually raid on various places throughout the country in UP and Bihar and various places of nearby the border region. Okay, so they have actually arrested many people. They have collected information from Bihar, UP, Maharashtra. Okay, to actually to investigate further or to get some kind of information uh, from various sources. Okay, so National Investigation Agency or the NIA has actually raid on various places, and they got actually one CCTV footage and one CD drive. In the CD drive, they got one image of the Aishwarya Rai. Okay, and the CCTV, the blur images of the suspect people they got. So they arrested actually more than 20 people from the various places, and they try to relate with this evidence. Now, After opening the CD, actually they got Ferrara image, but there is no information. Now, if you will see the Hyderabad forensic lab, then this is the actually number one lab in the India. If you will search number one forensic lab, then you got the information about the Hyderabad forensic lab. Now they have very great team. Now they actually they investigate further, they analyze further the image of the actress, and they found hidden messages also written with the image, not exactly the Aishwarya image. The image is also there, but it has some hidden message. Now what was the hidden message? The hidden message has written something कि उस पे लिखा हुआ था कि इसके साथ बम रख करके वहां निकल जाना एंड वी विल मीट एट 7 p.m. ऐसा वन मैसेज इज रिटन इनसाइड this along with the image, but we can't actually read this message directly. Okay, just I am showing the image also, and after analyzing the image as well as this, actually they got the information about the two people because the name is also written in the message, and they have arrested 20 suspect people. Out of these 20 people, they got actually success to actually match their name with the five people. So these five people was actually accused person of this Hyderabad bomb blast, and they are also actually hanged, I think, by the High Court or the Supreme Court decision. So these are the actually five people. I think yes, Yasin Bhatkal case. I think you are aware with this case. He was the prime suspect or the accused person of the Hyderabad bomb blast. Now I think uh, this case are also concluded. So actually they got information or they got image just like this image. Okay. So can you differentiate these two image? Anyone can differentiate these two image? Or is there any difference between these two images? These are the two Aishwarya Rai image. Just try to find out the differences between these two images. What are the differences between these two images? Is there any difference? Okay, if you will try to analyze these two images from your naked eyes, then there is no difference as such. Okay, there is no difference. But one out of this one image, out of these two images, one image is actually processed with the help of some specific software, which is also known as the steganography software. Now, with the help of this software, you can actually incorporate or hide some specific information inside the image itself. Okay, that is actually intention of the criminal or the terrorist is they can hide or they can actually put or they can integrate the information along with the image itself without disclosing the information. Now, from the naked eye, you can't actually able to read this information, but it has some actually information. Now, how can you actually visualize this thing? So I can also give you a demonstration about this thing. How can you analyze it exactly contains this kind of information? Okay, for this purpose, I can show you the demonstration. So I'm stop sharing my screen. I'm sharing my all screen together. Uh, okay. I have to share my all screen. Okay. So I'm I'm sharing my full screen now. My screen is visible, everyone.
Yes, sir.
My window is also visible.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. This folder is visible.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So I have steganography software. Now, if you will open this image, BMP image, then you can see that this is the image which I am opening. It is taking too much time actually. So, okay, this is the image actually. Okay, so there is no difference from the next image. If you click on the next image, modified image, there is no difference as such. But by process or with the help of this steganography software, you can actually visualize. So I am using one software to analyze it. The software is geosteganography software. Okay, just click on the particular software. Now here we have to extract the information, what exactly it contains. So we have to load the source file. Okay, now here we can see that the modified file, okay, as per array file, it is visible. Is it
Yes,
visible?
yes, sir. Visible, sir.
Okay, so just I am giving as an input and I am clicking on the next. Now here we can see that it contains some input text file also. The file name is input underscore message.txt. Now try to extract the file, or I am renaming this file as a hidden message. Okay, I am saving to the same directory and finish. Now here we can see that the hidden message file is also there. Now click on the hidden message file. Now here what exactly the message actually hidden with the HRIF file. Now here you can see that the message is welcome to the world of forensics. This message actually is incorporated or inbuilt inside the or hidden inside this image file with the help of the steganography. This was the message. Now we can also hide any message inside any image file. Now I'm clicking on the image. Now try to identify the image. This is the image of your university. Okay, CSVTU. आप लोगों की university. Now we can also hide any information to uh, your image of your college actually. Now for this purpose also I can also provide the input, just like I have to approach to the same software. After the opening software, you have to add the file. Now the load target file, now load your college image file. Okay. Now you have to click on the next thing. Now what exactly you want to add? Okay. So we can write some message. For this purpose, I am selecting a text file and text file name is test1 and I am writing uh, this is the last session and I am saving this file. Okay, now I have to hide this file along with your college file. Now I have to add this file test1 file and which can be incorporated to your college image. Now click on the next. Then here we can see that one file is also there, that's CSVTU modified. Now save the file in the same directory. Okay, now click on the exit. Now here you can see that two files are there, CSVTU modified and the original CSVTU. If you will open from the naked eye, then you can't differentiate between these two files. But one file, this CSVTU file contains one hidden message which we have just written. This is the last session of our workshop. So this is possible with the help of the steganography. So this is not actually any very difficult task. Lot nowadays, very variety of softwares are available to hide our information. Now again back to the same or back to our lecture itself. Okay, again I am sharing my screen. So just wait. Okay. Okay, so I have already demonstrated the steganography, how they got the information about the suspect people, because they one message was written inside the file itself and they got the information. Similarly, you can't differentiate between these two images. These two images are captured by from the Chandrayaan 2, the image of the Earth from the Chandrayaan 2. So there is no actually difference, but one image has some secret message, from the same software. Okay, so nowadays where variety of cyber attacks are there. Just phishing attack is very common. Phishing attack, most of the time you got one message from any specific or the renowned website or that yes, you got this much of amount from the HDFC Bank or SBI Bank or from Coca-Cola or from Amazon or Flipkart, but always actually uh, always take some kind of care to process further, because whenever you are opening this kind of message, they always request for some specific information, or they always provide you some specific link. After clicking on the link, definitely your private information will be can be captured by the attacker. Okay, so these are the example. If you are just observing the phishing kind of mail, then you can see that if some kind of eBay website is giving some kind of offer to you, then the email is not coming from the eBay, it is from @hotmail.com. Okay, so one thing is very clear, they don't have the eBay. Very similar as eBay, they can write any kind of email. Okay, so lots of things we can compare, because the the email address or the specific link address is totally actually different. Okay, so we can analyze this is actually not actually the genuine mail. Okay, on most of the time the renowned organization won't reward you directly for without of any reason. Okay, the reward money also not very large. If you talk about the Amazon or the Flipkart, they won't give you money directly. Yes, you won $1 lakh or $2 lakh for by randomly selected your profile. Okay, so always make or always take this situation very very carefully. Okay, now we have another case from the educational organization. Okay, one educational organization from the Mumbai itself. What they are getting lots of actually abusing message in the mail on the institute website, and the principal was very tense up from this situation. They approached to the investigating team, or they file one FIR. They are getting this kind of abusing messages on the various social medias. Okay, because it's a matter of the reputation of a specific institute even. Okay, now the investigating team, they have given this case to the cyber team, and after analyzing the thing, they got the information. The most of the message, almost 90, more than 90% messages are coming from the same IP address which school has. It means the message are also actually forwarded from the school IP address itself. What does it mean? Nothing but after closely monitor this thing, they got the information that messages are coming from the school lab itself. They are coming from the student itself. So unknowingly, they are just actually forwarding, broadcasting the messages on the social media and the various platforms, because they want aware. They are not aware about they are doing this kind of cyber crime, because they don't have information. We, because they are doing this kind of thing uh, because of just making fun of this thing, but unknowingly they are doing this kind of crime. Okay, but they are the minors. The investigating agency or the principal have not having intention to arrest them. Okay, because they are the minor, they have not information about this activity. So the principal has requested to the investigating agency to conduct a awareness session specifically for the student. Okay, so the investigating agency, they conducted the awareness session for the student, and they aware, now they have got awareness about their act. It unknowingly they were doing some kind of uh, criminal act, which is not actually permissible as per the Indian law. Okay, now just try to identify this person. This is one of the he is one of the students from the same school. Just try to recognize him. Who is he? Anyone? Anyone can recognize who is he? This person. I think I can specify the name of this student. This is his name is Ankit Fadia. After actually getting this information from the cyber forensic team and the school and awareness session, he also got the information that he was doing some kind of wrong act, and he has made his career on the cyber security field itself. He has won, I think, 2 or 3 times best hacker award around the globe even. Okay, so I think After getting this knowledge, you can also make your career in this respect. Okay, so our not only our personal profile or our organization or private organization are suffering from various cyber security attacks. Our ministries, our law and enforcement agency, our public sector are also suffering from various hacking. Okay, in the last few years, actually, the G-Force, the anonymous hackers group from which is funded by the by the actually uh, Pakistani Kashmir group. Okay, they have actually initiated lots of hacking activity to hack CBI website, Indian Railway website, even NIT Raipur website was also hacked by this group, G-Force group. Okay, when I was the part of the CBI, our CBI website was also hacked by this G-Force, and they have written one message on the CBI website itself. So I have also captured the screen. I can show you this screen. So they have written this website because earlier the Indian Army was hacked the website of the Ministry of Pakistan. So on the countermeasure, they hacked the website of the Central Bureau of Investigation Agency, and they have written this message. You have the Indian Cyber Army has hacked our ministry website. Now this is the countermeasure. We have hacked your website of the CBI, and they have written this message inside the front page of or the home page of the CBI website. Okay, so I have collected this snap when I was working at the same organization at that time. Okay, so one question which can quickly arise then if any kind of cyber crime is happening with you, then where you can report. Okay, so the organization which can provide you protection or the prevention about this act, this is the CERT, Cyber Emergency Response Team. CERT is government organization under the Ministry of IT and Communication. Okay, Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology. Okay, under the umbrella of this thing, this organization is working, where you can report any kind of incidents directly. Okay, this is the organization. Meanwhile, some of the cyber crime portal are also there nowadays where you can report. You can report to the CERT. CERT has also guideline how can you protect your data from various threats and attacks. So you can also visit this website, CERT website. Okay, Computer Emergency Response Team website. And this website is actually under the umbrella of the government, so you can trust on this website. Okay, so I have also collected some recent news. What exactly the recent trend inside the cyber crime and the cyber forensics? Because our ministry, our ministers, our prime minister, our army, okay, everyone is actually trying to protect their data. So what exactly the recent news are? So recent news are PM Modi's personal website, Twitter account hacked, social media and says secured now. Okay, so even our Prime Minister Twitter account was also hacked by the hackers. Okay, now here you can see that the PUBG and TikTok ban. What's India's Narendra Modi trying to achieve? Now, what is exactly intention if we are banning lots of actually Android app or the mobile app from the Chinese origin? What exactly the intention of Indian government? Because this actually not only this applications or these apps are gaining lots of financial benefit, they are also taking lots of secret information from you people. They have lots of information about the activity of various official, non-official, financial platforms. That's why, because due to monitoring of this kind of activity, Indian government has banned the TikTok, any PUBG, and lots of uh, insecure, or we can say insecure kind of mobile apps. So this was also actually nice initiative by the government of India. Okay, with respect to cybercrime, here you can see that Rajkot cybercrime cell naps two youth exploiting teenage girls. Cyber fraud, Prayagraj top list with 624 cases. Okay, and only 27 out of 961 crime cases in Mumbai from January to May it is solved. Okay. More news are also there. So Chinese app, 118 Chinese apps banned in India, including PUBG Mobile. Okay, so this is actually overall banned app information which I have collected, and this is the information by the IBM. Okay, cyber crimes in India extremely organized, collaborative in the nature by IBM. Now this person is also banned or arrested by police by actually posting some kind of violent message inside the social media. I think you are aware with him. I think his name is Ejaz Khan. He was arrested by the Mumbai police by uploading some kind of a specific video on the TikTok, and TikTok was also banned. And these people are also actually blocked by ministry, or they have also faced some legal charges because they have uploaded one video on the TikTok on the social media. So nowadays, I think situations are totally different. If you are uploading, then definitely you have to actually protect from every means. So Rajnath Singh has saying that cybercrime become industry and may occur very often. So he is our actually uh, defense minister, and he is referring in this manner, then definitely the situation we can realize. And lots of things actually in the news are there. And National Cyber Agency to fight online attacks. And here PM Modi, Narendra Modi asked top police official to deal with the cyber crime on priority. Okay, these are the recent news which I'm highlighting from various newspapers. Okay, now I'm coming to the last session, which is really interesting, which is interesting with respect to the social media. I am interested to ask some of the question from you. If am I audible, then definitely in this situation, please respond to my question. Yeah, because I want to make this session two-way, not one way. If you are responding, then definitely it will be more good. Okay. So with respect to various social media, because each and every person almost having some kind of identity in the social media also. So if you are aware with the social media, just like Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, or WhatsApp, then I think you can answer very easily. And I think no one is there which who is able not able to answer this question. Okay, so I'm directly asking the question because due to the limitation of this time also. Okay, now I'm asking this question with respect to this specific information, and you have to answer whether it come under the criminal offense or not. Okay, any kind of criminal activity, you may feel any kind of charge related to the criminal act or not. Okay, so my first question, anything posting on the Facebook or on any social media, if you are posting on any post on the Facebook or any social media, whether it comes under the any kind of criminal act or not, you have to give the answer in yes or no. Anyone can give this answer. If you are posting on Facebook or any social media, it comes under the criminal offense or not, yes or no. Anyone can reply. Okay, so if you are posting on the Facebook, anything inside the Facebook or the social media, definitely it depends whatever the content you are posting on the Facebook or the social media. If it is sensitive to a specific religion, specific to the national security, specific to some specific people, and people are complaining, then definitely you have to face some legal charges. It, so it depends what exactly you are posting. You are posting your image, your photograph, your birthday photograph, your journey photograph, then there is no problem. But if you are specifically highlighting the image of or geographical image of any army restricted area, then definitely you may have to face some legal charges. Okay. Now, like any post on the Facebook or the social media, the like button is very sensitive. If some posts are there specifically with respect to the girls, okay, why I am referring to the girls only? Because if you are visiting Facebook or Instagram or any WhatsApp, then the habit of the girls are totally different. If they are just observing any kind of photo of God, okay, like any God, picture of any Shiva or Hanuman ji or any something, the girl always actually क्या करते हैं वो लोग just हाथ जोड़ते हैं, they always click on the like button, जय हनुमान जी की बोल के. So this thing actually totally wrong. Just try to read the content just adjacent to the image also. Most of the time, the image also has wrong content. They are they target to specific actually religion. Okay, now the time is come, we are all more, we are actually always always exploited by some specific religion people. We have to club together. So this kind of message always written. So be careful if you are visiting any kind of Facebook page or any kind of Instagram page. Don't click directly on the like button. Just try to read the information which is also attached to the message. Okay, most of the time it is wrong. Most of the time, I'm not referring always. Most of the time it is actually wrong. So please remember, always read full content. Then only if you are feeling to click on the like button, then only click on the like button. Okay, because to after liking the post against the Baba Bal Sahab Thackeray, actually two girls were also arrested for 3 days. I think you are aware of this situation. So be careful. But after amendment IT Act 2007, the like button is not sensitive enough. Uh, you can like anything. By liking any post, I think you won't be arrested by the specific people. Okay, now sending multiple copy or the flooding of mail to someone. If you are broadcasting message on multiple time message to someone, then definitely it comes under, or it's one of the denial of service attack, because you are bombarding the mail, and definitely at one time the mail account will be full. Then if any other specific people are mailing to your friend, then this mail will be jumped out. Okay, so this is one of the denial of service attack, or also known as the denial of or DOS attack. Okay, so in this situation, if someone is actually doing this kind of act, it comes under the cyber crime. But this person has to contact to or lodge file FIR against these people. Okay, now sending multiple copy of mail to known person. Okay, you are sending multiple mail to your friend, so it comes under the cyber crime or not? Definitely it is not, because your known friend is there, but it totally depends on upon your strength of your friendship. आपकी दोस्ती पर डिपेंड करेगा कि how much actually strength of your friendship. Okay, if he is comfortable, he won't complain, but he is not feeling well, then definitely he can complain. So be aware, if you are sending multiple copy to specific friend also, then it totally depends upon your friendship. Okay. Now the next question, if you are changing your IP address or the location, just my IP address I am aware, but by use of specific software I am changing my IP address, it comes under the cybercrime or not? Definitely it won't come under the cybercrime. Please remember, चाकू खरीदना, तलवार खरीदना या पिस्तौल खरीदना, बंदूक खरीदना is not the crime. Okay, you can purchase. But to commit the crime or to perform any kind of, or to use this weapon, then only it will become under the crime. Okay, knife can be used for cutting the vegetable also. Okay, so knife खरीदना, चाकू खरीदना कोई अपराध नहीं. Okay, so it won't come under the criminal offense until or unless you are performing the any kind of cyber crime. But remember, if you are attacker or hacker, then they have intention. They always hide their location to actually to remove their traces, and then they perform the criminal, or then they perform the cyber crime. Yeah, so the intention is totally different for the hacker and the cracker. They hide himself or their identity from the internet, and then only they perform the crime. So they use this kind of software first, and then they change their IP address, and then they perform the actually any kind of cyber crime. Okay, this is the actually activity which is performed by the hacker and the cracker. Okay. Now next question, calling or sending messages multiple times to any number. Now here we are talking about the mobile phone. If you are calling multiple time to someone or sending messages multiple times, so definitely it won't come. But if you are a girl or woman, in this situation, it is really sensitive. Okay, if you are a boy and you are calling to some girl or woman multiple times, then after amendment in the actually legal act, you can't actually call multiple time or sending message to a specific girl or woman, because it comes under the harassment also. So this specific girl or woman can also log complaint against specific thing. So it comes under this act if the second or if the end user is girl or the woman. Okay, remember this thing. Okay. Now the next question: posting any sensitive information or the pornographic material to the social site. Okay, Indian government or Indian law won't permit to upload or to uh, post any sensitive information or the pornographic material on the social site. It comes under the cyber crime. So you can't actually upload this kind of information. Okay, the next question: posting sensitive information or the pornographic material by some other person to your page. Okay, some other people is actually posting on your Facebook page or posting on your WhatsApp group. Then what will happen? Okay, definitely this sensitive information of the pornographic image is banned by the Indian law. Then definitely this person has to feel the legal proceeding. But to protect this kind of thing, who will suffer from actually the law? The administrator or the owner of the group, or the person who has posted on the particular group? The answer is both the people, the administrator as well as who has posted the post on the particular group. Both the people will have to feel, face the legal proceedings. Okay. Now the next question: posting private or the sensitive information such as a credit card information, password, or other private information on the public site. Okay. Just like you are posting any private information or the sensitive information or credit card information or the password on the social site, definitely it comes under the law of privacy, as well as it, with respect to the financial activity, it is not permissible. But yes, if you are posting your credit card information along with your password, then there is no problem, because you own this information. You are the, you may be the distributor. Okay, but it is totally unauthorized. I think you can't actually post your I think password or the login combination to the social media even. Okay, now the last question: holding sensitive information or the pornographic material to your system or the mobile phone. As per the Indian law, it is not, it won't come under the actually cyber crime or the cyber law. So you can hold this kind of information inside your mobile phone or the personal system. But if someone is complaining you are the distributor or you are the generator of this information, then definitely you have to face the legal charges. Okay. So I think this is the last slide which I am covering. If you want to ask any further question related to this session, then you can ask related to cyber forensics, related to the cyber security. Then the questions are really welcome. Or if you don't have any kind of question, then you can approach through mail or through mobile number, which I have mentioned in the slide. Any question from anyone or any audience? So I'm stop sharing this slide, and if you have any specific question, then you can ask. Yes, madam, over to you.
Thank you so much, sir. That was indeed very informative session. We feel honored and privileged to have you among us. I feel privileged to propose a vote of thanks to all the dignitaries and participants who all attended this webinar on cybersecurity. My words are not enough to thank all on the behalf of whole CSVTU Bhilai. I would like to thank our resource person of today's webinar, Dr. Lokesh Chauhan sir and Dr. Kamnadev Maitri sir, for enlightening us with such informative sessions. Last but not the least, I thank all the participants for attending this webinar and showing your interest. Thank you everyone.
Thank you, madam.
Thank you.
Should I disconnect, ma'am?
Yes, sir.
So I want to thankful to CSVTU again and all the participants to actually effectively participate in this workshop. I hope that we will make the connection and we will organize this kind of workshop in your future.